Hi everyone, this video is the second video of this unit, conic sections, and this is going to be over circles. So circles have a different formula. Notice that now my x and my y value are being squared and there is a plus sign in the middle. So you need to be able to determine the difference between a parabola and a circle. A parabola has one thing squared, where a circle now has two things squared. So the center of the circle is h comma k. Since they're both in parentheses, we're going to take the opposite sign. So if they look positive, they're negative. If they look negative, then we're going to take them out as positive. The radius is going to be whatever's it set equal to, we're going to take the square root. So if there's any extra numbers on the other side that are not in the parentheses, then we need to make sure we move them over so we can get the accurate radius. I do have some steps here to help you graph. So if you need to pause the video so you can write that, go ahead and do so now. I will talk about these steps when we get into the examples. So we want to graph this equation. In order to graph it, first we need to do is find the center and the radius. So this is in standard form, even though it does not look like it's in standard form. This is in standard form. Where I think that a lot of us might get confused is that this is just a y squared. So when you just see the variable squared and it's a circle, I need you to think of it as being y minus 0 squared. Y minus 0 is just y, and if I square it, it's just y squared. So for this right here, my center is at 1, 0. So if we plot that on the graph, it's going to be right there on the x-axis. Then for my radius, I am going to take this last number right here, and I am going to take the square root of 36. The square root of 36 is 6. So what I'm going to do from my center, I am going to go up 6 units and put a dot. From my center, I am going to go down 6 units and put a dot. From my center, I'm going to go to the right 6 units and put a dot. And from my center, I'm going to go to the left 6 units and put a dot. And then I'm just going to connect those dots in a circular motion. And that right there gives me my circle. So I am going to label my center. And I am going to label my radius. And that is all there is to the circle. Okay, so moving on to example number 2. Example number 2 is given to us in that general form. So I need you to be able to see that there are two things being squared. And that means it's going to be a circle as of right now. So we need to put this into our standard form. To do that, we're going to have to complete the square twice within the same problem. So look and see how I have this written. So my x variables are going to be in one color. My y variables will be in the second color. So I'm going to have x squared plus 14x. I'm going to add an a space right here, and I will subtract the space at the very end. Then I'm going to have y squared, it's a positive y squared, minus 12x. I'm going to add in a space. Then I have minus 4, and now this is where I subtract my spaces. So minus space, minus space. And I actually think that 4 is a positive 4, so let me fix that. And it's set equal to 0. So now we're going to focus on one thing at a time. So when we complete the square, we're only going to look at this piece right here and not worry about that y. Okay, so we take this 14, we cut it in half. Let me fix my pen. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then we square it. So we're going to square 7, and that gives us 49. So 49 goes in this blank, and it also has to go over here in this blank as well. But before we move on, we got to go ahead and do our little shortcut that tells us we have our variable x and our half term minus 7. And then that's it for completing the square for that. Now we're going to repeat that process, but with the y variable. So we're going to take this term right here. We are going to cut it in half. And then we are going to square it. And we get 36. So a 36 goes there, a 36 goes right here as well. Then we are going to add our parentheses squared so we can factor that. We use our variable, which is y, and then we have minus 6, and this should have been a plus 7, so that is my bad. And then we go ahead and add the last three numbers together because they are like terms, and that should give us a negative 81. This is still set equal to 0, so there's one more thing where we just have to move over that 81 by adding it to both sides, and then we have it in standard form where we can identify our vertex and our center. So here is standard form. Looks like that. So my center is h comma k, opposite of that number, opposite of that number. So my center is going to be negative 7, 6. I'm going to plot that on my graph. Please be careful because the graph is going by twos. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and then up 2, 4, 6. So it should be right there. My center is, or my radius is going to be the square root of 81. So the square root of 81 is 9. So from my center, I'm going to go up 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And then down 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And then right 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. And then to the right, or left and right 9. Okay? So then all I have to do is connect my dots in a circular motion. Boom. And that is it for identifying the center and the radius from an equation. Now, in the next two examples, we are writing the equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in the information into that general form or that standard form. So we got x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So here we are given the center hk. So we're going to plug that in respectively. So I have x minus 8 squared plus y minus a negative 3, so that turns into a positive 3 squared equals my radius squared. Well, you have to be careful because we are given the diameter. The diameter is 2 radii together. So my radius is equal to my diameter divided by 2. So that would be 22 divided by 2, which means my radius is 11. So if I square 11, 11 squared is 121. So this would be the standard form of my circle. If I wanted to write it in general form, I would need to expand it. So let's go ahead and do that. So that would be x minus 8 times x minus 8. You would FOIL x times x, you get x squared. x times negative 8 is negative 8. Negative 8 times x is negative 8, so that turns into a negative 16. Negative 8 times negative 8 is a positive 64. Then we are going to do the same process, but with the y plus 3. So we get plus y plus 3 times y plus 3. So y times y is y squared. Y times 3 is 3y. 3 times y is 3y. So that gives me a 6y. 3 times 3 is 9. And then it's still equal to 121. So I would combine my like terms and get x squared minus 16x. My like terms are the 64 and the 9. So I'm going to put plus y squared plus 6y equals, or sorry, not equals, plus 64 plus 9 is 73 equals 121. I'm going to move over that 121 so I have it set equal to 0 because that's what the general forms have had. So I get x squared minus 16x plus y squared plus 6y minus 47 equals 0. And this is the general form. Okay, so looking at example 4, go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. So the mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they understand that we're given the center. Okay, so they understand that it's a circle as well, so we're using this formula. But what we make a mistake on is that because the last example was a diameter, we assume this one's a diameter, and it's not, it's the radius. So this one actually gives you r, and you're literally just plugging in the numbers. So I have x minus 4 squared plus y minus 1 squared. And my radius is 12, so if I square 12, it is just 144. So that is the standard form. If you want to try to expand it, pause the video and you can check your answer with mine. Let me label my standard form. And for the general form, if you expand it, you should get x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 2y minus 127 equals 0. So hopefully you gave that a try so you can see if you get the same thing. And if you have any questions, please make sure you write them down so you can ask for help. And I will see you in the next video.